Hi, my name is Vita and this is Hippie Crow Hub. Today I would like to talk about traveling with children. We recently traveled and it was quite an adventure because for the last 6 years we did not fly outside of the country that we're in, which is Canada. And we traveled, we did a lot of road trips, but we didn't take a flight. And the last time we flew, it was when my older daughter, my first daughter, was 7 months old, and we took many flights, and it was a completely different experience traveling with the baby, because baby will be on your lap, and you know, you're always carrying them. And this time we were flying with two children, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. At the time still 4, but turned 5 right after the flight, so I will say 7 and 5. Okay, so it was interesting to plan for me because I didn't know how it's gonna go. I didn't know how they're gonna react. In their understanding, the feeling of going into the airplane, it was like a first time. My little one never flew in his life before, and my older daughter does not remember her flying in the past. So it's pretty much like a first time ever, really. And for us parents, it's also kind of a first time with the older kids who are already aware of the of their environment, and not just like a baby who would not know whether they're in an airplane or in a bus, right? So I wanted to share a couple of things that I experienced, and maybe you can use it as a couple of tips or help you your thought process for the planning. Maybe you have more worries than you need to have, like I did. I thought some things will be a lot more difficult than it actually was. So I'm gonna start with minimal packing. Okay, so we were flying 4 of us, my husband, myself, and 2 children. I really did not want to overpack. We were going away for 2 weeks to Ireland, and so weather was going to be moderate, so we needed to make sure we bring jackets, maybe shoes for maybe rain. So there were a lot of things to consider, and the last thing I wanted to do was bring this whole massive wardrobe and be overwhelmed with the amount of things we have, checking the weight, and also knew that I want to bring back some things that are sentimental for me from my mom's home. So I needed to have extra space in my luggage for when I return. So we made an agreement that all of us are gonna pack 5 outfits each. Now, I knew also that at my mom's home we'll have washing machine and we can do the laundry, so it wasn't going to be a big deal to get your clothes washed. Also, trousers can be worn a couple of days most of the times. Tops I like to wear fresh, clean one every day. Now we did pack 5 pairs of pants each and 5 tops, and only 2 jackets. For kids I brought 1 jacket each and a couple of hoodies, and then for myself I brought a leather jacket and one blazer, and then of course a couple of cardigans. Same for my husband, so we have something to choose. We brought 2 pairs of shoes each, so just in case one pair gets wet or something happens, we have another pair. And 5 pairs of trousers, 5 tops, and of course a bunch of underwear and pajamas for kids. And for us, we just kind of brought a couple of t-shirts and shorts to just sleep in it. And it was already more than we absolutely needed. I ended up not wearing 1 pair of pants, but probably because my mom gave me some cool pairs of pants and I ended up wearing those ones. And that was totally enough. I can't imagine if we had to bring 1 outfit per day for all of us for 2 weeks, that would have been a nightmare. Now, usually when you travel, you can find laundry, but at the same laundry facilities, but at the same time, you don't want to waste your time while you're away of doing your laundry. Luckily, we were staying at my mom's home, so we managed to have it done very conveniently. All right, so don't overpack and only bring the absolute necessary stuff. Also, kids' toys is unnecessary, because when you're traveling, everything is entertaining, everything's exciting. There's also little things that the kids, will want to bring from the trip. So there's gonna be little new things that you're gonna purchase, or whatever your budget or preference is. But my kids love nature, so they literally picked shells from the beach, and they were so happy to bring back a little cute rock they found, and all natural, easy, simple things. So I was very pleased with the way we packed. We all flew with 2 check-ins. Well, actually, 1 big suitcase to check in, 1 small suitcase to check in, and 1 carry-on bag for us where my laptop was. So I was super pleased the way we flew out. Some people were shocked and surprised, because they are very into fashion and all this stuff. And trust me, I enjoy my cute outfits too, but I also enjoy convenience and being compact. And I have done in the past where I have traveled, when I traveled on my own, I completely overpacked, thinking that I'm gonna have this fashion show every day, which ended up completely not using half of the outfits, because I was more occupied with enjoying the time there than planning and picking all these crazy outfits. Plus, once in a while you want to purchase something while you're away. So yes, less is always good. And there's always a way. You're not gonna run out of pair of pants. You can always hand wash if you absolutely need to, and you can figure stuff out. Alrighty. Alright, so because it was a first flight for the kids, in a sense that they're aware of it, we talked about a lot of things. We were giving them heads up. I was like, listen, you are going to feel really tired, and you're gonna feel overwhelmed. You're probably not gonna be comfortable to sleep in the airplane chair, but you're gonna have to deal with it, because it's only 6-hour flight. The first flight was overnight flight, so that was a little bit more concerning for me. So they slept okay, but there were a couple of moments where they woke up and they were not happy that they can't just lie down normal like they used to in a bed. But then they went back to bed, and they woke up in the morning a little bit puzzled out, but then the snacks came and they were all excited, because that's part of the entertainment. So I think the key with children, because for them it is going to be super exciting to go in an airplane, it's going to be an awesome experience. They're gonna have all these new things to explore and to see and experience. So as long as we give them heads up and talk about all those things that might not be pleasant and the things that might not be comfortable, we're gonna have to, once they know, when we give them heads up, they really can digest and process what's happening in the moment better. Even if they feel overwhelmed and the feelings cannot be stopped, they will understand what is happening, and it will pass, and they will know that it will pass, and that the dramatic moments will not last as long, because none of it is a shock. Even though they experiencing certain discomforts, it's not going to be like this ongoing thing. Also, because it was overnight flight, the dinner, my daughter stayed up for the dinner because she was super excited to airplane entertainment food. But my boy fell asleep. He didn't make it because it was very late flight. It was way past our bedtime. But what I did was I saved all the extra bits for him, so when he wakes up, he doesn't feel like he's missed out. So the main meal he didn't get to eat because it's a warm meal, but all those little cookies, the butter, the bread, and I mean, it's not like the healthiest thing, but it's a, airplane entertainment, I call it. So I saved that for him, and he was really happy just to see all the things when he woke up, and a little drink, and and a little snack, and the whole thing was just super fun for them. So they did really well, I would say, especially that it was a night flight. They didn't sleep enough, and they got up and they kept going, and even though they felt a little bit tired, they were really well behaved. And another thing to be aware is ears getting plugged. My daughter had a bit of a meltdown over the ears getting plugged when the plane was landing. So I was aware of that, but I didn't think I will need to bring some like gum or candy or something to eat, so to help them. My boy was okay. He was managing to swallow and adjust his ears, but my daughter had like a bit of pain in her ears. So next time on the way back, we brought some mint candies for them to suck on when they land to help adjust the ears. Because when we flew with the babies, what I did was breastfeed the baby while taking off and while landing. So that was not a problem at all. But with an older kids, I no longer had that as an option. So I would recommend bringing some mint candies or chewing gum or whatever works for you, or something they can suck on that they constantly can adjust the ears easily without feeling overwhelmed. Okay, right, so next thing I would like to point out, jet lag. I thought jet lag will be a big pain in the butt. It wasn't as bad at all. Of course, it was tiring for the first 3 days, but kids, every time we drove somewhere, they just crashed and they took a good nap, and then they woke up and it kept going, so it wasn't too bad at all. And as grown-ups, we can get on with it. We know what we're dealing with it. And then but right after a couple of days, they seemed to adjust back into the normal, into the routine that we had there, and none of it was an issue. And actually, when we came back, the jet lag worked to our advantage, because we just naturally were waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and ready for the day, and then wanting to go to bed nice and early. And so it was just like, I wished we could have kept that feeling going for longer, but so, and then after like a week, we adjusted back into feeling lazy to get up in the morning and wanting to hang out longer in the night. So the jet lag is not always a bad thing. All right. So change of routine. I think I already mentioned a few things. So while we were there, of course, everything was different. Change of routine for kids. At home we have certain type of food that we eat. We have certain schedule-ish. Kids go to school, kids come back, then we have a weekend. So everybody has more or less of a structured routine. Some parents are super strict of exact minute or hour when they feed the kids. I'm not like that. We have a routine naturally because of the activities we do. Kids do go to bed usually between 7 and 8 because they wake up early for school, and I always want to make sure they have enough of sleep. And if they wake up naturally earlier, that's just great. It means the body is ready. So I always make sure that kids go to bed nice and early. But while we were on holiday, I already told them, I said, everything will be different. Some things will not be as we used to. Food might be a little bit different. It might not be served at the same time or ways the way it is at home. So you gotta be prepared. And I said, whatever it is, don't get overwhelmed. Speak clearly. If you don't like something, don't eat it, but you have to try. Okay, so this is like one big thing for me, like with the food. You know how kids get fussy a lot and they're like, ew, I don't know what that is. I'm like, listen, you won't know until you try. You have to try. You tried it. If you really dislike it, passionately dislike it, you don't have to eat it, but eat all the other good things. And they went with that, and that's how they did it. And actually they were eating well. I told them that during the trip I'm not gonna push them. Sometimes I'm a little more strict. I was like, listen, you gotta eat your lunch because we're gonna go to swimming pool. You'll be hungry and cranky later. You gotta eat well. I will be a little bit more assertive with these things. But while we're on holiday, I said, look, we're gonna have snacks with us. If you really don't want to eat, don't eat. If you feel very hungry, just tell us. We will get you some food, and just try. Just give it a shot. I just kept telling them, it's your body, and you can get yourself overwhelmed and make it difficult for us. You have to listen to your body and decide when is the right time for you to do what. Because with jet lag, as we know, adults, we don't always feel like we want to eat that breakfast or lunch because our schedule is not the same. So the body is, contradicting with what your expectation is of the plan. So I made sure that I'm careful with my kids on that, and I gave them a lot of space and freedom. There were a few moments that I knew that they're already not eating well enough for way too long, and then I said, okay, now you have to eat something, okay? Even if it's a piece of fruit, something just to start and get the appetite going. And it all worked out. So even the change of schedule and a different bedtime routine, different setup, everything was not a problem to them. It was actually super exciting and entertaining to be in another place. And they had their own room to share, so they had a awesome party every night, laughing and giggling and dragging the going to bed time. All right, so, and that's another point I want to make, that when you're on holidays with the kids, and especially when you're flying first time, and especially when they're in another country for the first time, everything is exciting. Absolutely everything. And it doesn't have to be Disneyland. It doesn't have to be crazy entertainment. The way the grass looks, the way the air smells, the way people talk, the way, the pubs are, like absolutely everything. All the castle ruins that we visited, it was amazing. It was one of the favorite things kids like to do, just climb on the old castle ruins, and it was so amazing. They felt like they were Spider-Mans. And that was a big highlight. Also, when we went to the beach, my daughter and my son was cracking rocks, and he thought it was so amazing too. And my daughter could not stop searching for little shells because they looked so different to what we are used to. So for her, that was like the super highlight of the trip. And it's amazing, so sometimes I think parents think that for kids will only be entertaining if they are like in roller coasters and Disneyland, but it really doesn't have to be that way. If we raise them to pay attention to little details like the trees or the plants, like we spot different different plants that we don't have, like how does the water look here, like, oh, water, you know, like the seaweed, so much sea moss in Ireland. So all these little things that can be entertaining to us, they also can be entertaining to kids, you know, and we just gotta encourage that, and they didn't need crazy toys or anything, and yes, the grandma did prepare a couple of toys for them, and that was also very exciting, but everything with balance, right? So there. That's my take on it. And I already mentioned naps and car rides, which were helpful, and I also talked about the different food that as long as kids try and don't resist from the beginning, it's most of the times they're actually going to like the new food, as long as they give it a shot. Is that rejection from the start that can become like a problem throughout your whole life, in my opinion. And I really do not understand when people travel to another country or go to other people's home and they immediately go, oh, I don't need that, oh, I don't like this texture, oh, this is not something I'm used to, and they have all this fuss. It's worse than kids, really. And you know, I have my ways of how I like to eat every day at home when I'm in charge of my food. But when I'm traveling, I am willing to try everything. I'm willing to taste and eat whatever is there. My mom cooks very healthy, so that was lucky. But a few times when we ate out, we had some oysters, and that was delicious. And even kids tried cooked. We got some raw oysters and baked oysters, and the kids tried the oysters, and my daughter liked it, and my son, he wasn't excited about it. He said, you know what, I don't think I like this. And you know what, fair enough, but he did try it. He ate one, and he decided it was too chewy for him and he wasn't into it. And fair enough, I understand that. All right, so these are the things that I can think of throughout the trip, and things that can be expected. And of course, we had a couple of meltdowns with the kids when everyone was overwhelmed and tired, and you know, like a day at the beach where I brought kids some little shorts in case they want to go splash in the water, because I knew that the water was pretty cold and kids were not going to swim. And I insisted my daughter to change because I saw the waves, and I knew that the waves can knock her out, and then she would get herself wet, and then she would be cold after because I don't have a whole entire new outfit. So I tried to explain it to her, and she was she just became stubborn, and she really didn't want to do it, and then we had a bit of a disagreement. So these things are gonna happen, but then she ended up just being bummed out and sitting on the blanket. Well, you know what can you do? And my boy got himself changed with shorts, and he went to play in the water. And exactly what happened, what I predicted that it might happen. He got knocked out with the wave, and he fell in the water, the whole body. And it was a bit of a shock for him. He started crying, but you know, right now it's just a memory. So yeah, all these things, you know, kids will be kids, and us parents, so we're always gonna have to figure out what is the best way to deal with what. So not every day will be perfect. But my point in this video is that traveling with kids, it's fun and is entertaining, and I would totally do it again. And I found that they behave even better than every day at home sometimes, because every day, you know, they're used to the environment, and they like to test the parents with everything, and they like to get a little bit, you know, annoying. But with traveling, I think it was less of that because they were too occupied with experiencing this amazing, awesome adventure. Okay, so since this video is about family time, it goes into Hippie Crow category of family time, so I'm sharing how it's like to travel with kids, all the practicalities about it. Okay, I hope this video helped and I hope you can relate. And please hit a like if you like, and subscribe. That would be even better, mean the world to me. Have a good day, and if you do plan to travel, have a wonderful trip. All my best wishes, and mwah!